Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It's a cloudy, overcast day in the Motor City today, but still a perfect day for Tigers baseball. Welcome to Comerica Park. Final game of the series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Kirk Gibson. Glad to have you with us here for the fourth and final game of the series. Tigers go for the sweep. They were powered yesterday by a couple of home runs by Steven Moya. We're starting to see some new faces in this lineup now.
We are. Last year the Tigers traded a lot of their stars away for depth, and now they're starting to show up. I really like the way they're managing that depth as well. Get them in the minor leagues, bring them up for a look, put them back down again, and here they come again. And Steven Moya showed that is paying off for him last night when he hit the 2 home runs. His first home run started Sunday when we were in Kansas City on a hot, steamy day. Ball out over the plate, gets on top of it, not swinging and missing as much as he did in the previous year. Last night they tried to come in on him. That adjustment he made by opening up that front side pays off. Then they go away and unable to do so. Steven Moya puts the hammer on him and hits it out to left field. 8 for 21, 381 clip with 3 home runs since his recall the second time.
All right, now last year, of course, the Tigers made some trades in the trading deadline to replenish the system. We saw Michael Fulmer last night. We'll see Daniel Norris here today.
And Daniel's a guy who expected to come out of spring training being the 5th starter. Did not happen. He hurt his back, went on the DL, and he's been at Toledo pretty much since then. He's been pushing to get back up there. You know that. The guy has high expectation. 4-3 with a 2.77 ERA. In his last 7, I talked to him today. He told me that he is very anxious, but he is 100% healthy, so he's very confident.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios, check in with Justin White. But coming up today, the Tigers, well, they are going for the sweep. Tigers getting the brooms out here this afternoon at Comerica Park.
Tonight we are victorious.
Seattle Mariners wrapping up this 4-game series. Daniel Norris is on the hill today for the Tigers. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Daniel started the season on the DL after injuring his lower back in spring training. Throws the four-seamer 91 to 95. Curveball slider have been very good as of late. Does use his change as well. And he's excited to be back, and the Tigers are looking for good things for Daniel Norris, trying to fill in that number 4 and 5 slot on the starting staff.
Here is the lineup he will face today, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Marte, Gutierrez, and Cano. They're at the top of the lineup. Some changes today for Seattle. CRUZ back in there. Lee at first, and then Seager at third. The bottom three of IANNETTA, Martin, and O'Malley gets the start at second base today. And we are ready to get this one going. The Tigers and Seattle wrapping up this 4-game series. Daniel Norris delivers a strike, and we are underway today. Ketel Marte batting in the leadoff slot for the first time in this series. And for good reason. 7 for 13 in the 4-game set. 1 ball, 1 strike on Marte. Daniel Norris making his first start of the season for the Tigers. The 1-1 pitch is fouled off at home plate. 1-2. Norris is 23 years old, out of Johnson City, Tennessee. He's ahead 1-2, and Marte takes high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marte, with his big series here in Detroit, has moved his average up to 280 on the year. Here's a little pop-up right side of the infield. That'll be routine there for SALTALAMACCHIA. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. Jay up and left. Andrew Romine giving Cam Maben a rest today. Stephen Moya back out there in right. Castellanos at third base. Iglesias and Kinsler, the bookends, are there in the middle of the diamond. JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA getting a start at first base, getting Miggy off his feet. James McCann behind the dish, and he's catching Daniel Norris.
SALTALAMACCHIA, of course, making the start at first base, and of course the very first play goes to him. There's a strike called on Franklin Gutierrez. Getting the start in left field today with the lefty on the mound. The right-handed batter hits .256. Now the 0-1. Gutierrez this year has been much better against left-handed pitching. .298 versus lefties. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
You can see Franklin much better against lefties. That's why he's in the lineup. .298 versus .162 versus righties. Has not looked very good so far in the series, but they give him a start today.
He'll drive that one back out of play. Seth Smith, the left-handed batting outfielder, getting the day off today. Good to see Norris back on the hill. Of course, Daniel, as we talked about earlier, was scheduled to be the 5-man in the rotation, or at least the front runner in spring training to win that 5 spot. Then the back injury hit, and he started the season on the disabled list. Swing and a miss. He tied him up and struck him out.
Pretty good fastball right here after he gets him looking for something off speed. Again, elevating at the top of the zone, up and in. Gutierrez can't lay off it. Down he goes. 2 away.
Here is Robinson Cano, who is the DH this afternoon. Fewer left-handers in the lineup today with the lefty on the mound. You've got Cano, you've got Seager, and Martin. They had 6 lefties the first game of the series. Ball 1 to Robinson Cano.
I think the Mariners are just looking forward to getting off this road trip. They've been very good on the road up to this point.
Cano takes all the way. It's a strike. Yeah, they've got a nice long homestand coming up, but their road trip has been grueling. Tigers winning the first 3 in this series in search of the sweep here this afternoon.
And if you are the Tigers, you got to keep the throttle down. You don't want to get complacent. One of the rules of competition, you win the first 3, you've won the series, and not meaning to, you can kind of let your guard down a little bit and then give the other team some momentum. Tigers want to keep this streak going. 2 games over 500. Manager Brad Ausmus would like to see him get on a long streak and get well over 500.
2-2 on CANO. Well, the Tigers coming into play remain 4.5 games behind the Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland's been on fire. Didn't lose a game. I think it was 11 in a row they won down there in Cleveland, their last homestand. Tigers are hanging in there, but they'll get their chance Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when the Tribe comes here to Comerica Park.
CANO takes high, and the count fills now 3-2. CANO is 2 out of 10 in the series, but he has walked 4 times. 53 driven in this year. 3-2 is wasted foul back out of play.
So far, the breaking stuff from Daniel Norris fairly flat. Not much depth to it. Seems to be a little up in the zone. Hopefully, he can find his rhythm. Get a little more bite to it.
A glimpse of the future of the last 2 nights here. Norris today, Fulmer yesterday. That's driven toward the gap in right center field. It's going to be all the way to the warning track before it's cut off by Romine. That'll be a double for Robinson Cano with 2 outs. Here are the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. 72 degrees, a little bit cooler today. It is overcast.
Quick.
And quick is the
quick, and it's going to get quicker. Testing my spelling skills. Did I screw something up?
No, you're fine. I just don't know if you're going to talk about the track or the humidity or the moon. Here's Nelson Cruz. He pops it up. Right side of the infield. To the grass goes Kinsler. And that'll end the inning.
Salty wanted none of that.
2 out double is stranded. Kinsler getting set to lead it off for the Tigers. Their starting lineup today, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Kinsler, Iglesias, and Cabrera in the top 3 spots. Nick Castellanos is playing third base, batting cleanup. Upton is in left. Moya is in right. You got McCann, Saltalamacchia, and Romine. And whether or not they face Adrian Sampson, we'll have to see. Apparently, there's an issue going on now.
Yeah, they went out to talk to him. He's got the trainer out there with him, maybe a blister. Hurt himself warming up. So Kid only his second attempt to start a game this year for the Mariners. He's gonna go out of the game.
He is not going to throw a pitch here this afternoon.
And Mel Stottlemyre Jr. is looking for the left-hander. Here you're going to watch him. He's taking his warm-up pitches. Didn't like something. That ball didn't come out very good.
You can see him shaking his right hand, so there's an issue here with Adrian Sampson, who was scheduled to make his second major league start here today. It's not going to happen.
Talk about a manager's nightmare. I know that Service has been trying to, the manager of the Mariners has been trying to get his bullpen back freshened up, but that's not going to happen today. Because they get no pitches out of their starting pitcher, as a Vidal Nuno coming in.
Well, they got 3 1/3 last night from Mike Montgomery, who was able to close the game out once their starter left, but now it'll be a bullpen day, and not by design. So Scott Service chatting with Vidal Nuno, and here are the numbers on Nuno this year.
This is his 30th game, and actually he came in and pitched in, was it the first or second game of the series for the Mariners? 8 holds, but he's turning into a long man right now.
So as Nuno warms up, we'll step aside in a scoreless ball game here at Comerica. We'll be back. Thrown today by Seattle. They've gone to the bullpen as Adrian Sampson has been taken out after his warm-up pitches. He will not be able to go today, and now Vidal Nuno comes out of the bullpen to face Ian Kinsler. It'll be Kinsler, Iglesias, and Cabrera in the Tigers' first inning.
Shea Up will be happy to see that pitching change, huh?
Oh, no question.
Hit the walk-off against Nuno a couple of nights ago.
Kinsler looks at a strike to get things started here in the bottom of the first. Ian in the series 3-for-15. And he swings and misses 0-2.
You realize how hard that is to do if you're Nuno right now?
Oh, it's got to be
there in the bullpen, not
really
thinking you're going to go in the game.
I mean, for all those guys right now who are on high alert.
Red alert now.
Suddenly turned into a bullpen afternoon for Seattle. That'll go to the backstop, 1-2.
As organization, you worry about hurting your player in a situation like that. Tigers are 6-5 versus left-handed starters at home, 3-5 on the road, so 9-10 altogether.
Into shallow right field. CRUZ under it, and one gone.
Let's take a look at the Mariners starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Franklin Gutierrez out there in left field. Leonis Martin center. Nelson Cruz in right. Kyle Seager has been all 4 games there at third base. Dae-Ho Lee at first base. Ketel Marte and Sean O'Malley up the middle. Chris IANNETTA again catching Vidal Nuno, not Adrian Sampson.
Jose Iglesias cuts and misses 0-1.
It's Vidal, not Vidal.
How does this affect your lineup, Gibby? You're geared up toward facing a right-hander today, and all of a sudden a lefty comes trotting out of the pen. Ball hammered, left center field, hit well. Martinez on the run. He's going to get there though.
Well, if you had a lot of lefties in there, it might make more of a difference. Tigers only have Moya. Salty's a switch hitter. Romine's a switch hitter. Salty probably would prefer the right-hander. But Kinsler, Nick Castellanos, Jay up, James McCann, those guys are all licking their chops.
And so is Cabrera, who stands in with 2 outs.
And Miguel, he's amazingly enough, he's hitting under 200 against left-handers in the season so far.
And when you ask Cabrera about it, all he does is throw his hands up and shrug. He doesn't know either why it's happening.
That hasn't been that way in the past, but this year, what do they call that? When it's kind of out of character?
Kind of out of character. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Rifled back up the middle on a hop, knocked down by O'Malley. He'll stay with it. And then the inning, 1, 2, 3, they go. And we'll go to the second. This afternoon, Tigers and Seattle are scoreless, and Dae-Ho Lee will lead things off for Seattle. Lee, Seager, and IANNETTA 5, 6, and 7 for the M's. Daniel Norris surrendered a double to CANO, but no further problems in that first. Little bouncer hit to the right side, and Kinsler throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 away. Love those 1 pitch outs. Here's Kyle Seager. Daniel Norris in his last 6 starts down in Toledo had an ERA of 2.55. Seager will stand in from the left side. And he has hit a couple of home runs in the series. In fact, his only 2 hits have left the ballpark.
He's definitely got big pop.
Ball 1.
Make a mistake to him and he is going for the seats. Made some great defensive plays as well. You can see why the Mariners have him signed.
He is a Gold Glove third baseman. 1-0 is in there for a strike. 1-1 on Seager. Norris had pretty good numbers against lefties down at AAA Toledo. They were batting just .220 against him. Here's the 1-1.
Little slide piece there on the outside corner. Again, Daniel told me the fastball, he has confidence in that. Curveball, then the slider, and then the change. Throwing a lot of curveballs as of late down there in AAA.
Swing and a miss. He got him to chase up and out of the strike zone.
Well, there you see the grip. Going to be the high heater. Comes out hot right at the top of the zone. Underneath goes Kyle Seager.
MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Mr. Norris.
Well, his first 6 starts, look at 0-3 with an 8.45 ERA, and his last 7, 4-3 with a 2.77 ERA. So he's getting it together, running himself back in shape. When you get hurt coming out of spring training, it takes a long time to catch up, and it's proved to be true here with Daniel.
IANNETTA batting .238. Norris, of course, had a pretty good stretch run last year in the big leagues with the Tigers. Tigers, as we talked about at the top of the show, able to replenish their minor league system with some really good young talent. And pretty much all 3 of them have been up this year. Norris, Boyd, Fulmer. Good pitch there, 1-2. Fulmer last night said he felt a little bit dizzy on the mound, a little lightheaded. You could tell from the get-go he was a little bit off his game.
Yes, yanking the pitches into the left-handed batter's box all night. Couldn't make the adjustment. There's the line, 4 1/3 innings pitched. Only 3 hits. He does battle. And he only walked 1, but always pretty much behind in the count. Unable to have the put-away pitch.
Got him. Strike 3 called. IANNETTA caught looking at a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Norris, including 2 strikeouts. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Dodge, come discover great deals during the Dodge Drive and Discover event. And by Kroger. Here come the Tigers now as we go to the bottom of the second. No score. Vidal Nuno goes out for his 2nd inning. pressed into duty today as Adrian Sampson was taken out because of right elbow discomfort before he even threw a pitch in this ball game. He felt it warming up. Here's the ball low to Nick Castellanos. 2-0 the count on Nick. Upton and then Moya to follow. Nuno, despite the fact that he was rushed into this game, had a 9-pitch 1-2-3 first. 3-0 on Castellanos. Nick has hit safely in all 3 in this series, and he'll take a 4-pitch walk.
That's good news for the Tigers. Nick with the walk, get runners on base. Justin Upton had a little bit of a success on Monday. 12th inning, bottom of the 12th tie score. Gets a hanging changeup from Nuno. Deposits it into the left field seats. Tigers won on a walk-off. Everybody's happy. Created some momentum as the Tigers have won the next 2 and the first 3 of the 4-game series.
Here is Jay up now with a man on, nobody out. And Nuno slings in a strike, 0-1.
Started him off with a straight change, the pitch he hit out. Now, normally I was thinking he's not going to throw that pitch, but that's how tricky pitchers can get.
Playing to pull against the right-handed batting Upton. 0-2.
They're going to make, you can see the second baseman traveling this way now with 2 strikes. Knowing that Jay Up makes a little bit of adjustment when he gets behind in the count.
Nuno just missed, and the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Leadoff walk to Castellanos. That'll get back out of play. Do you think there are fewer adjustments Gibby made now with 2 strikes than there maybe were in the past? I've heard a lot of managers in baseball talk about the fact that, you know, guys are still swinging hard with 2 strikes in the count, trying to hit home runs.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they definitely are swinging harder. They are stronger. They're trying to tie Jay up right there. See him throwing the fastball up and in. But you know, you have some guys that are going to do it, try and do it. Some guys you can't, that just can't do it. But the strikeouts are definitely up from over time, but that may be because the pitching's better. Everybody acts like the hitters just over swinging all of a sudden, but those pitchers have gotten better as well.
2-2 on Upton. Justin now with 8 home runs, and his 11-game hitting streak come to an end last night. Castellanos chased back.
Little step off move there. Well, all the Tiger runners should know that he has that move.
And there he goes. Here's the throw down to second, and Nick is out.
Looks like he did the read on that. I don't know if we've got a good angle to show it, but they called the balk.
They called a balk,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that looked like it was a little bit hinky from the get-go.
Just look, he's going to go home, and then he just, oh, see, look where his right foot stepped. We have another angle. So you got to step towards the plate. He did not do it, and they called the balk, and we got a man on second.
Meanwhile, the count has gone full now on Upton. Here's the 3-2. Drill to center field. Martinez on the move, still going back, looks up, it's up against the wall. That'll get a run in. Upton will go to second, and he's in with a stand-up double. Tigers grab the early lead, 1-0.
Boy, Jay Up looking good. Just stays back on this very nicely. He's been getting hammered in and getting changeups, and here he likes to go fastball away. And look at Jay Up, just waits on it, not fooled at all. Perfect balance. We've drawn the side-by-side comparison a couple nights ago. J-Up's feeling it, repeating it well, and the results are shown very well in this bat right here.
Here's another guy that's been getting some results. Steven Moya had a huge night last night, a couple of home runs.
They're going to throw him lots of sliders and curveballs. They did it last night against the lefty. They know that he can hit the fastball. 2 home runs off that last night.
And when Ben's low and the count goes 2-0 on Moya.
Started that ball right at Moya's shoulder, and it broke right over the plate. Looked like Andy Fletcher may have missed one.
Fly ball, right field, hit well. That one's going deep. CRUZ on the run, won't get it. Up against the base of the wall. Another run will score, and Moya remains red hot. It's an RBI double.
Well, Moya, like I said, stays hot. They're trying to go down and away. He went the other way yesterday for the left field home run. Today he pulls it in the right center field gap. Plates Jay up easily in with a stand-up double. Tigers are just replacing each other at second base. Castellanos gets down to second, double by Upton, now double by Moya. Tigers have 2 runs.
So the offense is off and running today in support of Daniel Norris, rather. And here is Menard's big money encounter. And here's the run differential for the Tigers in the last 19 home games.
Well, they've certainly picked it up. A +40 run differential at home. 15-4 record at home as well during that span.
Now McCann, still nobody out in the inning, 2 runs in. Fouled straight back, 0-1. I don't know how many innings or pitches they can expect to get out of Fidel Nuno today. He had a 9-pitch first, which was encouraging, but the Tigers now have played it a couple of runs, still nobody out. And as you mentioned earlier, Kirk, a nightmare situation for a manager. That's driven foul down the right field line. You come in with a game plan, you have a guy ready to go, and Adrian Sampson, and he's unable to throw a single pitch.
Well, beyond today's game, if they did not win it, now you go home and you're going to have to use many more pitchers, and your bullpen's going to be shot even worse than it is when you started the game.
In on his hands, that'll rattle around the Tigers dugout. Nuno is up to 27 pitches. Back-to-back RBI doubles by Upton and Moya. 2-0 Detroit in the second.
Looks like James trying to advance Moya to third base, giving himself up, trying to hit the ball to the right field.
SALTALAMACCHIA waiting on deck.
It's good team outlook, good team play right there by doing so.
Another one hit the other way and back out of play. McCann at 202 with 3 hits in this series. His calling card this year, though, as it always has been his defense. He has thrown out 56% of base stealers this year. Pull down the left field line. It's going to hook, though, and back into the seats. So Nuno having trouble putting McCann away, and he's up to 30 in the pitch count.
We're getting back to the Mariners. After this game today, they'll fly home, face the Cardinals tomorrow night in Seattle. They're listing to be determined as a starter, so it's even in the dugout right now. There's phones, decisions being made, and McCann goes down on strikes, swings at a bad pitch.
First strikeout of the ball game for Nuno. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day.
Who's your guy today?
I'm going to go with Upton and Moya.
You're going to go with two?
Two guys that have doubled in a run.
I'll go with Cabrera and Castellanos.
Okay.
Nice try.
There's ball one to SALTALAMACCHIA. You're actually going to let me get away with that?
I had no problem with that. Make your rules up. You make the rules, I'll follow them. Just like last night.
Salty will swing and foul it straight back.
Several Tigers were not very happy with you that you picked Ian Kinsler as your favorite Tiger.
They were not. Nobody said
you were
anything.
getting on me about it, right?
Right.
You have two children, correct?
Correct.
Who's your favorite?
I like them equally.
Oh, well, that's a cop-out.
The 1-1 is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
That was dirty.
That was pretty mean right there. That was pretty mean.
Well, I was up at 5 o'clock thinking about that.
I'm sure you were.
Getting ready for the game today.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ripped to left field. That's going to get down, a base hit. And so SALTALAMACCHIA singles. That'll send Moya to third.
You see the grip right there, 83 miles an hour. Salty has not been swinging the bat well from the right side, but that'll make him feel better. He's been working on it. When you're a switch hitter, that's tough. You know, it's hard enough just hitting from one side. Now you got to worry about hitting from 2 sides of the plate. Nice single right there. Swings it up to Andrew Romine.
So it makes a guy like Victor Martinez really incredible when a guy like that can hit 300 from both sides. And we're talking career, not just one season, but career.
Yeah, he can just flat out hit. It is impressive. I talked to Victor a little bit about last night. He struck out his first 3 times and then got a single on his 4th. It doesn't happen very often with him, as good a hitter as he is.
Romine held back there, thought about it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But he's been around for such a long time that that doesn't affect him. Gets a day off today. Very smart by Brad. I think you need to rest him a little more. Freshen his legs up. We know the results will be better.
Little chopper toward third, foul. So no Maben and no Martinez today, which serves a couple of purposes. The rest that we speak of, but also giving some guys opportunities as well. Here's Cameron and Victor. Here's the 1-2 line right to the first baseman Lee, who steps on the bag, and that'll end the inning. Good inning though for the Tigers. Moya an RBI double, Upton an RBI double, and the Tigers grab a 2-0 lead. top of the third. It's cloudy and overcast, but still a very pleasant day for baseball here this afternoon. And Leonis Martin will start things off, then O'Malley, and then Marte. Daniel Norris back to work. Pretty impressive second inning for Norris, a 1-2-3 frame with a couple of strikeouts. And the Tigers have supported him with a couple of runs.
Yeah, Norris off to a pretty good start. Only getting 4 in the third out of Michael Fulmer last night, so hopefully Daniel will be able to go a little deeper than that. 6 innings minimum.
That's in there as he takes all the way 2-1. .254 with 10 home runs for Martin. And that is hit softly to first base. Nice play, Salty. 1 gone.
Salty's getting some good action out there. Ball's finding him. You see this ball. He makes a good decision. Comes up and gets it. Gets the shortest hop he can. Smooth glove. Oh boy, that's a prone position right there. Vulnerable. It makes the play.
Cabrera getting the day off in terms of defense today. He's DHing, and SALTALAMACCHIA stepping in at first base. Norris back home, missing high to Sean O'Malley, who's playing second this afternoon. So a couple of big stars are DHing Cabrera for the Tigers and CANO for Seattle.
You got to do it.
High pop up into shallow center field. Here comes Romine, still drifting in for out number 2.
That was one of those balls right there. 4 guys converging, looking up in the sky. A couple guys out of position a little bit, and Romine makes the call. That's very good, very smart. They have that drill in like the 3rd day of spring training called pop-up communication. Center fielder has priority in the outfield, shortstop in the infield.
That was somewhat of a routine play, but still Romine has looked anything but out of place in center field in the games that he's played out there. He has looked really smooth out there.
I'm just telling you, when you move all around the diamond like that, it's a much different look when you get on different sides of the diamond. Like Salty's out there at first. That's a much different environment than he's used to. First of all, he doesn't have any padding on.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That'll send Marte out of there 2-0. So Norris now has retired 6 in a row. In fact, the only hit he has given up, the CANO double in the first, but no damage. That's in for a strike. 2-1. Marte popped up to start the game to SALTALAMACCHIA. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Norris now with the 2-2, and it's low, 3-2. Daniel made his Tigers debut last August in Baltimore, and his first start with the Detroiters was awfully good, going 7 1/3, and gave us a glimpse of what the future holds possibly for him and the Tigers rotation. The 3-2 is a bouncing ball to short. On the move there is IGLESIAS. That'll be another 1-2-3 inning. Nothing doing for Seattle in the third. right, Trev, here it is, 2-0. Tigers have the lead over Seattle, and Vidal Nuno goes back to the hill and delivers ball 1 to Ian Kinsler. Top of the order coming up here in the third. Kins and then Iglesias and Cabrera.
Ian flew out to center field in his first at bat.
Well, Nuno's still out there. He had a 9-pitch first, then he gave up a walk, a couple of doubles, and a couple of runs in the second. And again, if you tuned in late, the starter Adrian Sampson left with right elbow discomfort before he even threw one pitch. And there's a 4-pitch walk.
Well, how it happened, first inning, Sampson comes out to warm up. You see him throw the ball and shakes his elbow a little bit, and the catcher, IANNETTA, he knew something was wrong. Trainer comes out with the manager. They're always going to probably err on the safe side when they say elbow. You don't mess around with that, and off they go. Vidal Nuno comes in, and 2 innings of. Is he going to drop it? No. 2 innings so far, and I think he tried to sneak a bunt down there, popped it up.
First out of the inning, that'll bring up Cabrera.
This is something that he's been working on. He wants to do a better job of. He wants to be able to bunt. Just trying to sneak it, get him down, get Kinsler over to second, maybe get a base hit. Didn't work out this time.
It seems, Gibby, as the season has gone on, there has been more of an emphasis for Iglesias in working on his bunting and using that as more of a weapon with his speed.
Well, you know, he wants to work on it too. That's the thing about it. We even talked about it in spring training. You have to practice it. Come out here, hook the batting machine up out on the mound, and just repetitious. If you go, we'll go back and look at that. I think he hit that off more of the sweet spot. The more you hit it off the end, the more it's going to deaden. You have loose hands, you hit the ball, you bunt it right off the end of the bat, and it'll just kind of die softly into that grass surface.
Diaz now warming up. He'll be next in this game for Seattle. Kinsler draws another throw.
Well, the Tigers went after the first throw. It's an old trick that many try to employ. You're guessing, will he throw over 2 times in a row? Will he do it 3 times now? This would be a good time to go right here.
And Cabrera looks at a strike.
Seldom will you see 3 times in a row, so you might go into a game thinking like that. Like when I was the base running coach in Arizona, I would go through and research how many times he actually double picked or triple picked. If he never did, then we would certainly take advantage of those situations.
Driven foul down the right field line. Timeout for the home field advantage, brought to you by Lowe's. And when you've got Miguel Cabrera in this ballpark, it's a pretty good combination.
Well, ranks first in this ballpark, 377. OPS second, total bases fourth, as well as home runs. This is a big ballpark to hit home runs in, so you know he's got big pop.
2-2.
The home run he hit the other day, there was some dispute over how far it went. Do we ever figure it out?
No, and the number that we got seemed really short. I mean, that's a ball that left the ballpark, literally. That's a check swing high, 3-2. I never really got a definitive number.
Need to look that up. There's several services that measure the flight of these home runs. Like you say, that was no cheapie.
No,
420 to straight away.
Right, and there's the Al Kaline statue out beyond that in left center, and it went beyond that. There's a strike called, and Cabrera is punched out, 2 gone.
Well, Nuno's just coming down the inside corner and he can't pull the trigger. Tricked him. See, it's right on the inside corner. Now, for a pitcher, that works good if you get it on that line, but if you leave it out over the plate, a lot of damage done by the good hitters like Miguel Cabrera.
Castellanos, the batter. Nick started things off with a walk, advanced on a balk and scored on a double by Justin Upton. Ball one high to Castellanos.
Just got hungry. Boy, you smell those hot dogs?
Yeah, that smells really good. Here's the 1-0. Fly ball right field, not deep. Nelson CRUZ there. And the side retired. No runs. Leadoff walk is stranded. 3 in the books. Three innings, has given up 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Awfully good so far.
Yeah, hasn't walked a batter. Pretty good command. Off to a very good start.
Franklin Gutierrez will lead it off, and he'll take a strike on the outside corner. Gutierrez didn't like that call. Slumps at home plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first inning.
You don't mean to do that because you know it doesn't help you. That slumping stuff. Umpires don't like that.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Smell rain in the air.
There is some light rain in the area, and probably going to be falling here at the ballpark soon. Nothing major, we hope. High fly ball, right center field. Romine cruising over. He'll grab it for the out, 1 away. Let's check in now with Matt Shepard.
Mario, big homestand, of course, here for the Tigers, but a big night tonight in Secaucus, New Jersey. It is the annual NBA draft. All right, now Detroit has the 18th and the 49th overall pick, and it's commonly known that baseball, hitting a baseball, is the toughest thing to do in sports, right? Well, it's not always easy to play either one of these sports, but 12 men have done it in the history of Major League Baseball and the NBA, including Detroit's own Dave DeBusschere. We need to remind people of the fantastic two-way sport athletes of all time that includes your partner tonight, Kirk Gibson, who was drafted in the NFL, ran what? Give me a 4.28 40 as a wide receiver at Michigan State. You were a sure first rounder and decided to focus on baseball, and everybody in the NFL felt bad about it, but we here in Detroit feel great that you were a Tiger.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, Van Gundy was down here the other day looking at Steven Moya.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, looks like he could play hoops, doesn't he?
Well, he was before the ball game today. Steven Moya was taking on Victor's son, Victor Jose, a little Nerf basketball.
Little mismatch, huh?
Oh, it was a serious mismatch. And Steven was not having any of it, man. He was swatting away shots. It was funny.
You know, Shep caught me off guard right there. I thought he was going to dig me, and he gave me a compliment. Fooled me. He reversed me.
No, see, Shep's deep down a really nice guy.
I mean deep down.
I'm still here.
We got that clip.
I'm still here. I mean, on the surface, he's a nice guy, too.
I should remind you guys, I asked everybody in the Tigers clubhouse, who would you want as your basketball player?
Yeah.
First overall selection,
Moya.
easily, Cameron Maven.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, North Carolina State and Kansas both wanted him to come play college basketball there.
Hey, a couple of good programs, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you ask who's the worst? Who that would be the last pick?
I did not. No, I tried to be as nice as possible to those guys. You know, I'm trying to make friends down there, kid.
I got you.
Here's Nelson Cruz. Hey, Shep, thanks. Take the rest of the day off. Cruz, a pop-up in the first inning. Apparently he has. 2-0 Tigers have the lead. There's a strike called on Cruz. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 1 hit for Seattle. The 0-1 pitch is in there. Is strike 0-2.
Daniel Norris working very quickly. When you got the stuff he's got today, it's very easy to do. Fielders love it. Guys playing behind him, they'll be ready to make the play shall they need to.
I know some guys, just based on either their body or the way they operate, just can't work quickly on the mound. They don't have success when they work quickly, and there have been some guys in the big leagues that have been very slow. But man, when you see a guy work at the pace of a Norris today, it just seems to have a positive impact on the entire team.
Well, you wonder what they're thinking. Benoit, the reliever for Seattle, one of the slowest, is very tough to play behind. But he has success. But as a, you know, you have to know that as a defender, you have to adjust your mind appropriately. See
Raindrops
walking up, yep.
Starting to fall now.
They do have the tarp uncovered, but I do not see anybody to throw it on the field, so they must not be too worried.
Driven toward left center field. That ball is hit well, and that thing is going to go. It's out of here. A home run for Nelson Cruz, his first in this series and his 17th overall. 2-out solo shot for Seattle. That's what he does. He hits homers.
Yeah, you got a fastball inside part of the plate, maybe not in quite enough. Just down. He's trying to go up and in. And Nelson Cruz, like you say, he hits home runs. Travels out of here very, very quickly. The good thing about it's only a solo shot. That's the advantage of not walking anybody in front of him.
Dae-Ho Lee will step in with 2 outs.
17th home run of the year for Nelson Cruz.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cruz has his 47th RBI as well. Rain a little bit more steady now as it drops here at the ballpark. There's a ball down low. 2-1 the count. High, ball 3. Only 2 hits for Seattle today, both of them for extra bases.
It's going to take that track down a little bit. It's not going to be quick anymore. Ball's going to be wet. You have to make sure that you get a seam when you throw it, if you can. And how do you throw a wet ball? You tend to not overthrow. You have to not overthrow it. If you overthrow it, you cannot control it. So you kind of, sometimes I know, even put 3 fingers on the ball instead of 2 to guide it to your target.
Swing and a miss. Lee is gone, and that'll be it for Seattle. 5 strikeouts for the left-hander Daniel Norris. Home run for Cruz gets them on the board. Tigers doubles from Upton and Moya. They'll be coming up in the bottom of the 4th. The bottom of the fourth inning, and Vidal Nuno is still out there for Seattle. He was pressed into duty today when the starter Adrian Sampson left before throwing a single pitch in this game with right elbow discomfort. And the first one to Upton is a strike call.
You know, competitions work both ways. Right now, you got to believe that Nuno doesn't really have great confidence against Jay Up. A home run and now a double his last at bat. On the other side, Jay Up very confident. He's feeling good. He's got him timed up well, obviously. But you still got to find a way. You got to control your mind out there and make a pitch.
2-1 on Upton.
Now, earlier in the year, Jay Up was swinging at those pitches. Now he's just so calm, slow feet. His internal clock is very relaxed as well, so you don't see him jumping.
Bounce to third base and a hop there for Seager.
Here's the Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window. Stephen Moyer last night, fourth inning, tried to get the ball, cut it in on him, but that open stance, he gets his hands in, takes it out to right field. Then again in the fifth, they go away with the fastball. And Moya deposits in the left field bullpen. 3 hits on the night, also added a single, 3 runs scored. Pretty good night. The Tigers' victory.
Late rain still falling here at the ballpark. It looks like it might be here for a little bit. One of those days that has turned into a soggy afternoon. Moya's RBI was his 6th of the season in a Tigers uniform. It was just a couple of years ago, the 2014 season, that Moya knocked in over 100 runs in a AA campaign at Erie.
Gonna get a slider here.
Slapped out of play, 1-2. 35 home runs that year for Moya, and it was the season that pretty much put him on the map as a major prospect for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
A little bit high.
Yeah, again, the Tigers staff, they have plenty of staff members. They're very structured. The minor leaguers work out every day when they're at home before the game, and then they have the workout for the game.
I remember seeing him in spring training before he had that big year at AA. He was always in spring camp, would get an at bat here and there, and he was just kind of a thin guy playing right field. And you looked at him and said, well, he might have a chance. And all of a sudden he filled out and had that huge season.
Then he really showed that he had the desire, went to winter ball. Made a lot of adjustments again. I mean, that's a good take right there. Lefty on lefty. Last year he had that foot closed. He was blocked off, and you just didn't see those pitches. Couldn't get to him, and swung a lot of pitches out of the zone.
Here's the 3-2, and it's high, ball 4. So another good at bat for Moya. He's on with 1 out. And the Tigers host the Indians this Saturday at 4:10 p.m. Placido Polanco will participate in a pregame Q&A session as part of the season-long celebration of the 10th anniversary of the 2006 AL champs. Visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. And we're also scheduled to have Placido in the booth with us. Talk about what he's up to.
Polo, he's a great teammate. Boy, he could handle that bat as well. Play anywhere.
McCann takes a strike.
Smile on his face, even when he was tired.
That had to be often because he played every day. No balls, 1 strike.
Came over from the Phillies.
0-2 on McCann. Looks like Diaz is back up and warming in the bullpen for Seattle.
Yeah, I think the leash is pretty short for Nuno right now.
You would have to think if Scott Service can get 4 complete out of Nuno, he would be thrilled at this point. And his team down by just 1 run.
You're right. Long way to go, though. You don't want the game to get away from you.
Just off the plate, 1-2. So Nuno is up to 67 in the pitch count. Salty waiting on deck. Now the 1-2. Driven deep to left field. That one is way up, and that one is gone. It's out of here. A 2-run shot for James McCann. 4-1 Tigers.
Tigers continue to strike with the big hits. This whole series, they've done a great job of executing in these situations. You get the walk, the good at bat from James McCann, and then he barrels it out to left center field. He's coming. Talked to Wally Joyner yesterday, and he feels that James McCann has made some adjustments since spring training. That's going to be it for Vidal Nuno.
So Nuno does the best he can this afternoon, but he surrenders a 2-run shot here to McCann. Wall side windows pitching change, and we'll be back. Made this one a 4-1 ball game. A long 2-run homer to left field, chasing Vidal Nuno, and so he is out of the game. Back to the bullpen go the Seattle Mariners. Edwin Diaz will take over.
You can see his numbers for this season. 8th game. He has been involved in 2 holds. The ERA very respectable at 2.25. Kind of saw him the other night, kind of lively arm.
First man he will face is JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA. Salty had a single in his first at bat. Good look at a ball high. They will play the shift on SALTALAMACCHIA. 3 defenders to the right of second base. Fouled straight back. Tigers now have 4 runs on 4 hits, and 3 of them have been for extra bases. Couple of doubles and the McCann home run.
Steven Moya, 3 hits last night, 2 of them home runs, scored 3 runs. 2 more. He's got a hit and a walk today and scored another run, so he's on a roll.
It's good to see the Tigers as a team now apparently gaining confidence, trying to win their 4th straight. That one missed inside. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, the Tigers need to get through this game today, get that victory. Then they're going to get into a red hot Cleveland Indians team that has dominated them so far this year. Tigers have to want to get back at them.
Diaz comes in and walks SALTALAMACCHIA. It'll bring up Andrew Romine. And Romine in the ball game lined into a double play back in the second. Hit a ball hard right at the first baseman Daeho Lee. Ball high to Romine.
94 miles an hour. Like I said, up to the top of the zone. You can see he's got a little finish on that fastball. A little late life. You see the ball just moves just a tad.
Swing and a miss. Diaz was a third-round pick back in 2012, native of Puerto Rico. He was in Double-A earlier this year. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Double-A to the big leagues on June 4th. He was elevated to the major league level.
Right from Double-A.
Here's the 2-1. Strike call. 2-2 now on Romine.
Used to be everybody came from Triple-A. Now you see a lot of guys coming from Double-A level up to the big leagues. Double-A usually has very good arms in that league. Some of the top arms in all the organizations.
Swing and a miss. Romine is out of there.
Sneaky 96.
Second out of the inning. Time now for the T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. You mentioned those Indians are coming to town, Gibby, and here's what they're doing.
Well, won 6 consecutive games, and this is Francisco Lindor. Boy, he's for real, highly touted, but he's showing that he is the guy. Look at Mike Napoli. You say he's on a 100 RBI pace this season. He doesn't wear down. They got Salazar, Carrasco, and Tomlin projected.
Yeah, no Kluber or Bauer. Those are the 2 the Tigers will miss.
They have a very good starting rotation, though. Very good.
It's 5 pretty good ones right there.
1 through 5.
Kinsler shoots one back up the middle into center field. Base hit. That'll put 2 aboard with 2 outs. Ian's first hit of the afternoon. We'll bring up Jose Iglesias. The Bernstein advantage brings you the matchup between Iglesias and some of the pitchers he's been facing among shortstops in the American League in June. He's right up there.
Yes, he is, and ahead of some good ones. Bogart's having a really good month.
Chopper up the middle, going to be a tough play. No play. Everybody is safe. They'll throw to third and throw it away, but not far enough. Infield hit for Iglesias.
He's had a couple of those this series. Getting out of the box very well. Got on the ball. He didn't get the time right there. But he's getting down there pretty good out of the right-hand batter's box.
Here is the most unenviable of positions, facing Miguel Cabrera with the bases loaded. And your team already down 4-1. 4 grand slams for Miggy in his career. Tried to hold up, but he went. Joe West said he went around 0-1.
Yeah, Joe West. He's always going to be quick with the thumb.
Salty down at third. Kinsler is at second, and Iglesias at first.
To break this game wide open right now, Miggy hits a gapper.
One ball, 1 strike. Cabrera is the 8th man to bat in the inning. He is 0 for 2 in the game. Ground out, strikeout. One and 2.
Now you got 2 outs, bases loaded. If you're one of these trail runners, especially like Iglesias over at first base, you want to cheat. The first baseman plays back behind you. Want to take extra steps. IANNETTA is not a guy who's probably going to pick behind you too much.
Swing and a miss. Cabrera goes down swinging and leaves him loaded. However, the Tigers, behind the 2-run shot from James McCann, add to the lead. It's now 4-1 Detroit. Top of the 5th, it'll be Kyle Seager, Chris IANNETTA, Leonis Martin facing Daniel Norris, who has looked really good today. I mentioned he was pitching very well down at AAA Toledo. And he has carried that with him in his first major league start of this year.
Actually coming off his best start down in Toledo and piggybacking so far today off of that start.
Here's the 1-0 to Seager. That's in the air. Right side of the infield, and it's going to be Kinsler. One gone here in the 5th. Now IANNETTA. It's quite an offseason for Daniel Norris. You all know the story that Daniel had the thyroid cancer taken care of this past offseason. So he beat cancer, which was obviously the most important thing in his life. But he also went to Nicaragua and was surfing down in Nicaragua. So he's, as you know, a free spirit.
He's got a dog, you know.
He does?
Well, just the name of a dog. It's actually his van.
Oh, right, his van, Shaggy. Yeah. Who, by the way, made a trip from Tennessee to Oregon this past offseason. Shaggy is that old Volkswagen van he has.
Do you have any passengers?
I'm not sure about that. I'm sure he had someone with him. But it broke down a couple of times.
Imagine that was like a 60s.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
That ball's belted. That thing's going to go way out down the left field line and gone. It was a matter of fair or foul, and it stayed fair for IANNETTA.
This may have been a two-seamer right here that didn't get to where he wanted it. He's trying to come in again. Seems like when you come in, you got to come in with a little more elevation. You can get into those hands and tie that right out the pole as well.
That ball driven in the air down the right field line. Moya's going back to the track, to the wall, and that one is gone. It is back-to-back home runs, IANNETTA and Martin, and now suddenly 4-3. 3 solo homers in this game for Seattle.
That's how quickly it can happen. Ball is traveling very good here at Comerica, has been all week. Mariners making a statement. Even though they've lost the first 3 games of this series, they're not giving in. Talking about Miguel, he had the bases loaded. That would have been the dagger if it didn't happen, and the Mariners respond.
Rich Doobie's out now. Martine's home run, his 11th of the year. That's a career high for him. And it's got the Mariners to within 1 run. Here's Sean O'Malley. O'Malley pops up a bunt back into the seats.
You know, Daniel Norris, 63 2/3 innings in the minor leagues, 1 home run. Giving up 3 today.
CRUZ, IANNETTA, and Martine all solo homers.
That's the only good news about it. Nobody on base.
O'Malley takes the ball low, and the count levels now at 1-1. Norris at one point had retired 9 straight before the CRUZ home run last inning. It's bunted foul.
Now they said that hit him in the box. If you're out of the box and that ball hits you, you're automatically out. Andy Fletcher says he was still in the box. You have to be totally out of the box, not just 1 foot. You have to have both feet and your body totally out. So Norris is cruising along, and all of a sudden he gets plucked for a couple. Just imagine the mindset. Maybe you aim it a little bit, thinking it, overthinking, lose your mechanics. Tougher to locate.
2-2 on Sean O'Malley. Lifted out of play. O'Malley's one of those guys that you can attach the word perseverance to. Parts of 9 minor league seasons. As you look at the pitch count now in Norris.
Up to 70 here in the 5th.
Now the 2-2.
Here's our high-speed pitch, brought to you by Xfinity. 95 the high, the low 75.
Missed it high, and the count fills now 3-2.
Yeah, Mariners are doing a much better job of working the counts as well. Daniel Norris has gone as much as 7 innings this year down to the minor leagues. Seems to be tiring a bit here in the 5th.
Top of the order waiting on deck. Ketel Marte. Mariners have done all of their scoring in the last 2 innings, all via the homer. Here's the 3-2, and it's lined toward left field. That ball gets down. It's a fair ball, and it goes to the corner. Sean O'Malley takes the turn. He will stop with a double.
Good job of J-Up getting that ball in. O'Malley was trying to get on his way to third base, but J-Up picks it up quickly and stops him at second base there with 1 out. This guy runs pretty good. He has a good turn. These corners are tricky in any major league ballpark. You don't know where it's going to bounce. This ball bounces away from him. If you rush too much, you drop the ball, you get third base easy. You always have to get a good grip, never drop it, and make a good strong throw.
They're going to remove the tarp from the bullpen mound now.
Well, here's the split screen on the IANNETTA home run. And you look at the split screen right there. They're pretty much out over the middle of the plate, trying to get those balls in, but he can't do it. And the results the same. Solo shots, one by Martine and one by IANNETTA.
Here's Marte with the tying run at second, and he sends a ground ball to third. Nice pick there by Castellanos. Soft hands, 2 gone.
Good pick there. You get that ball, it could be real wet. You got to make sure you get that grip. As I was talking about, Cassie does a good job of getting it over there.
Bruce Rondon is warming up in the Tigers bullpen. Here is Franklin Gutierrez. We're talking about the long home run that Miggy hit earlier in this series. Gutierrez hit one against Cincinnati earlier this year that was measured at 473 feet.
That's lengthy.
Yeah, the 3rd longest in the American League this year. He's got massive power. Grounded foul, 0-2.
Used to be a pretty good outfielder. Covered a lot of ground. He actually had 7 errors one year. He also led MLB in his ultimate zone rating. So he was getting to many more balls than any other center fielder, and thus creating many errors for himself when he didn't quite get there.
Tap slowly toward third. Castellanos on the bare hand, not going to have a play. That'll be an infield single for Franklin Gutierrez. Then it's going to set the table for CANO.
That was a smart play by Castellanos. Another example of how he is maturing as a player. Here you got a guy on second base, a swinging bunt. You throw it, it might get away from you, but he holds on to it. First and third, and now Daniel Norris will have to get out of this inning facing Robinson Cano.
Cano had a 2-out double in the first, did not score. He struck out in the 4th inning. It's the first time the Mariners have had a hit with a man in scoring position in their last 19 tries.
Norris had almost 20 pitches this inning.
And Cano hammers one in the air toward left field. That ball is hit well to the track, to the wall, and Jay up.
He got it.
He got it. Whoa, what a play by Upton. That ball appeared to go, and Upton plucks it and takes a 3-run homer away.
You can take him on your hoop team.
Look at this play by Upton. All the way to the wall. Nice play. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Robinson Cano nearly hit one out. Justin Upton leaping play in left field up against the wall, and the Tigers still hold on to their lead, albeit a very slim one. And for the Tigers, it'll be Castellanos, Upton, and Moya facing the right-hander Diaz. He'll fire home a ball low, 1-0.
Jay Up added a little drama to that, didn't he? We didn't know whether he had it or not, but he did.
Reached across his body and made a nice leaping catch up there. Not sure if it would have gotten out, but it was awfully close. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We got 2 righties and a lefty coming up next inning, so Daniel Norris may be done.
Here's the 1-1 pitch in the air toward right field. CRUZ with the catch, 1 gone.
Looks like Cano thought he got it right here. He gave a little bat flip when he hit it. Ball's out over the plate. Yep, thinks he's got it. Got the head down, going into the jog, and Jay Up overran it just a little bit, but kept his eye on it. He had to stop and have a laugh himself. Jay Up had his own little party over there, but got the job done.
Ooh, and Upton hit by the pitch. Right in the back.
Well, that was something off speed, so you would think it wouldn't be intentional. I don't know why it would be. You're 1 run down. But it can be if you want it to be.
And only the pitcher knows. Steven Moya will step in.
Well, what do you think it's like being the pitcher when you know you smoked a guy on purpose and everybody else knows it and you just say, got away from me?
Well, that's what they all say. How many of them have actually said, yep, meant to hit him?
A couple, and they got suspended or fined heavily.
I threw it as hard as I could and I meant to hit him. So Upton is at first base. Diaz replaced Nuno, who could not get through the 4th. A 2-run shot by McCann chased him, but again, if you tuned in late, their starters Sampson left with elbow discomfort as he was warming up to pitch in the 1st inning. 0-1 on Moya.
Moya a little late right there. As I said earlier, Diaz has a very live arm, kind of loose, comes through the zone, through the motion very quickly, and he hides the ball. It's coming from behind that back and ear, that right arm.
Double and a walk in this game for Moya, plus an RBI, so it's just a continuance of what he did yesterday. Moya had a huge day with 3 hits yesterday, 2 homers.
Been on base 5 straight times.
Upton draws another throw.
Jay Up 4 steals, has not been caught yet. It's not a lot of steals, but he picks his spots.
The 0-1. Way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Moya. Tigers organization showing a little bit of their depth this year with the injury to JD Martinez. Moya has come up, stepped in nicely. Pitching wise, they've used some guys out of the bullpen and the rotation. Ooh, big swing there. And even a guy like Rondon coming up and having a couple of really good outings.
Yeah, they might have rushed Rondon before and got here a little early, stopped his development. That's kind of what happens when you bring guys early. They're developing. When you get to the big leagues, it's hard to continue development at that fast pace because you don't experience the success.
Swing and a miss. He dusted him. Moya is out of there. 2 gone.
That's a live fastball there.
Hey, tomorrow night the Tigers host the Indians at 7:10 p.m. Fans are invited to stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. It's 3 strikeouts now for Edwin Diaz. McCann was the last batter that Nuno faced. He homered against him. 5th home run of the season. In there for a strike, 0-1.
He has thrown strikes now as well. Live fastball, live arm. Being pretty tough to see and get on him right now.
Running start at first base, but J.Up put the brakes on.
Yeah, he's timing him up. You'd think that all pitchers could see the runner over there, but that's not the case. Very few of them can. If you're the first baseman, you must yell, "Step off." He's holding him here.
1-2. Well, the rain pretty much has stopped here, but a light rain was falling for a little bit, which I'm sure has slowed the track down a bit. Upton being held at first base by Dae-Ho Lee. Down the right field line, slicing.
Let's take a look at Big Boy's big play of the game. James McCann, last at bat. Gets a hold of one, fouls a couple off. Been swinging the bat better. That's a 2-run home run. Put the Tigers up 4-1 at the time. The Mariners have since scored 2, 4-3 now.
Here's the 1-2. And he got him. Strike 3 called. McCann punched out of there. 4 strikeouts for Diaz, no runs, a hit batter, and 1 man left. We go to the 6th. 4-3 Tigers. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet. More than you expect for less than you imagine. Kind of a cloudy, overcast day at the ballpark today. The Tigers and Mariners are wrapping up this 4-game series. Tigers up by a run. We've got a Wallside Windows pitching change.
Yep, we got Bruce Rondon in the game for the Tigers. It's coming back. It'll be in his 3rd game. 4th inning right here. Look at his whip. Not walking anybody. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. Lively arm, we know that. Throws the ball up to 100 miles an hour, and the slider has been very good since coming back to the Tigers this year.
Some of the sliders he threw in his first outing in Kansas City were just nasty. He's got Nelson Cruz to lead it off. Driven to left field. That ball is up there, and 1 pitch into this inning. We are tied. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and Cruz turned on it with little trouble. 2nd home run of the game for Nelson Cruz.
Yep, that's what he did last at bat. Same thing. This guy has hit home run his whole career. Just a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, middle third. That's right there in the inside corner, but that's right where he hit his last one. He knew it was gone immediately. This game is tied up.
7th hit of the game for Seattle. That is their 4th home run, all solo shots.
4 of the hits, 4 of the 7 home runs.
Dae-Ho Lee, a ground out and a strikeout.
That's impressive. That's a quick bat right there. You get 98 miles an hour right on the inside corner.
Swing and a miss. CRUZ now with 18 home runs. He had a couple of seasons back-to-back in which he had 40 plus. Bouncing ball right side. Kinsler to the grass. One away here in the 6th. CRUZ for the most part was relatively quiet in this series.
He likes day games. Well, Seattle likes to homer as well. Baltimore leads MLB this season at 111. Seattle right behind at 109.
Well, Kyle Seager, ball 1. Seager 0 for 2.
Seager with a couple home runs in the series. Got to be, he's dangerous as well in this situation.
Seager, a pretty good baseball family. His brother Corey was a 1st-round pick of the Dodgers in 2012, and his other brother Justin is in the minor leagues with Seattle.
Pretty good genes right there, huh? They play a lot of baseball in that household.
Well, I can imagine. 2-0 pitch is lifted out of play.
Who do you root for?
I like them all.
I'm just talking about if you're the parents.
You're
in a game when they're going against each other.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
How about if somebody hits or makes a great play on their brother?
Tip your cap. I think the fact that if you're a parent that you have 3 kids playing professional baseball is just a huge source of pride.
It's also a huge source of nice retirement.
In the air to center field. That's a good point. Never thought of it that way. That's the 2nd out. 2 gone now. Time for a game break. Here's Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks. The White Sox came in 5.5 out in the Central and a game behind the Tigers. Here's IANNETTA with 2 outs. Swing and a miss.
They're going after that first pitch, aren't they? They're being aggressive.
IANNETTA had a home run in the 5th inning, part of a back-to-back with Leonis Martin. Popped up. That'll be a routine play to the right side for Kinsler. And that'll end the inning. Not before the home run by Nelson Cruz off Rondon ties it up. In this one, Vidal Nuno made the emergency start for the starter Sampson, who left with right elbow discomfort. And a lot of home runs today, Gibby.
Oh boy, do we ever. All four runs scored by the Mariners. Tigers also have a home run by James McCann. We got a tie at 4-4. It's going to come down to the bullpen again. Tigers are due to have a big inning. Tom Wilhelmsman this season with Texas, 21 games, has held 3 of the ERA at 10.55. See the walks there, 9 walks. You got to be selective with a guy like this. Does have a live arm though.
Wilhelmston was just signed a couple of days ago. In fact, yesterday to be exact, he was with the Texas organization, was sent to the minor leagues. Didn't have good numbers from Texas, but he's had a lot of success in his career with Seattle.
He has, and you know, players start a career or come through a stop, then they can move on to another team, but there's always a comfort level of coming back to where you've already been. You know the person, you know the personality, and you know the stuff. And that's where you got the scouts that are out watching these individuals, and they have to project whether they can contribute or not. If you don't contribute in one spot, and being a veteran does not mean you can't contribute at another spot.
Fly ball left field. That ball hit pretty good. That's going to the track. That's going to the wall, and it's going to be caught right before the wall by Gutierrez.
Looks like Rondon's going to go for another inning. Nobody warming up in the pen yet.
There's Andrew Romine. Rondon surrendered the homer on the first pitch to Nelson Cruz in the 6th, but then got him 1-2-3.
Just taking a look, if the Tigers should take the lead here, or in the next inning late in the game, there's a base hit by Romine. What do you do to shore your defense up?
Well, you got Romine already in the game.
Salty's at first. I mean, he's played 42 games in his entire career at first base, but has not played there much lately. Do you roll the dice? Castellanos looks like he's earned his right to stay in. Romine has played center field very good this year, but you have Stephen Moya as well, so you kind of have to measure. You're going to let Cam Maven have a total day off, or you're going to go for the better defense.
Here is Kinsler.
This guy's a good guy at that leg kick to steal off.
1 ball to no strikes on Kinsler. I know the game dictates the situation, but if you gave a guy a day off, was it your preference to give him that full day off?
Well, it's your intention, but you still got to win the game. I know there's some players I've been around that almost refuse to play on those days.
Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. The tag going to be late. A stolen base.
I've always said the total time from the time the pitcher starts to the ball getting to the tag at second base should be 3.3 seconds or less. This is about a 3.65. Romine recognized that Wilhelmsman was very slow to the plate, has the high leg kick, immediately takes advantage of it. They give it to you, you take it. Like it.
Now it's 2-0 on Kinsler. 3-0. Iglesias on deck. A swinging, bouncing ball to third. Seager throws him out, 2 away.
He won't be happy with that. He had all good intentions there.
Well, this Sunday, the Tigers play the Indians at 1:10. It's on-field photo day. Prior to the game, fans can take photos of their favorite Tigers players. For tickets, go to tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. So the M's get a break there. 3-0 on Kinsler, and he swings on 3-0 and grounds out. Now Iglesias will step in. Ball bends inside, 1-0.
Iglesias has been very hot. 1 for 3 today.
Wilhelmsen spent part of his time as the closer with Seattle in 2012 and 2013. Strike called, 1-1. And he had a total of 67 saves for Seattle.
4 for 8 for the Tigers. Runners in scoring position. 222 on the series. It's a good day. 4 for 8.
2-1. Infield single in his last at bat. They have Cabrera waiting on deck. That's off the end of the bat, foul.
Something off speed right there. Like you say, right off the end of the bat.
And Iglesias will get a new bat. Two and 2 the count. Tigers had leads of 2-0 and 4-1, but the Mariners have come back on the strength of 4 homers today, all of them solos. Little pop up. Had him lunging that time. The second baseman O'Malley will make the play. And that'll be it for the Tigers. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left.
The 1-800 Sam call of the game. Played JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA at first base. Right there early in the first inning, gets the big fly ball smartly. Lets Ian Kinsler take it. Makes a good decision right here. Thinks about going and getting the ball back to first base for the right decision. Then makes a good decision to come and get this ball right here. Only 42 games in his major league career at first base. Brad Ausmus decided it's invaluable to get Miggy off his feet for a day. Nobly filled in by Salty today.
And Bruce Rondon is out there for another inning of work as we go to the 7th in a 4-4 tie. Leonis Martin will lead things off. Swings right through a Rondon fastball. Martin, O'Malley, and then Marte facing Rondon. Now Bruce taking too long as Martin steps out. He hit a home run against Norris in the 5th inning. That'll miss inside. The previous high in a single season for Leonys Martin was 8 home runs, and he now has 11 already this year. Which is odd because he came from a ballpark in Texas that was more homer friendly. The 1-1 pitch is low, 2-1.
But developing as a player, understanding how to put the barrel on the ball much better. It would make sense, but that he should have more in Texas, but I think the development has trumps over top of that.
And Rondon just missed. Now the count is 3-1. Bruce with his trademark bright red glove. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and miss.
99 miles an hour. If you're watching on TV, when Rondon misses, he misses a lot arm side. You notice how that ball takes off into that right-handed batter's box. He has to stay closed. If it flies open too early, that's what's going to happen. Can't control it. When you're throwing the ball that hard, it doesn't come out perfect. It's really going to get a lot of movement on it.
Here's the 3-2. Little pop up shallow left. It's Iglesias running it down. One gone here in the 7th. We have action.
Nick Vincent. It is.
He pitched earlier in this series.
The Bulldog.
Here's O'Malley. Doubled in his last at bat. Skies this one foul. O'Malley was going to play college ball at Washington State, but then the Devil Rays drafted him. I guess they were the Rays at that time, in the 5th round, so he signed to play professionally. And decided to forego college. The 0-1 is lifted again, back out of play. 0-2.
Plays a lot of positions: second base, shortstop, third base, all in the outfield as well. Can run a little bit. Bruce trying to overthrow that a little bit. Goes up high, 98 miles an hour. That's just high out of the hand, so you're not going to get any swings there.
And the 1-2. Swing and a miss.
Nice pitch.
O'Malley is out of there.
So he throws all the fastballs. He wastes that one up high. He's got a pretty good snapdragon. You can see the fingers on the side of the ball with good depth. Ball went straight down. Fox Tracks shows you. Started at the top and out of the zone. Ends up in a perfect spot down and away. Gets the strikeout.
So 5 in a row set down since the home run by CRUZ tied it up in the 6th. Ball 1 to Marte. Marte's had a great series, but he's been quieted today. Pop up, ground out, ground out. 7 hits.
Everything he's hit so far is fallen in.
1-1.
Alex Wilson warming up in the Tigers bullpen. They don't usually throw Bruce back-to-back innings, so probably have him on a pitch count.
Two and one.
You see the ball continuing to go up and away to the arm side. Maybe that's just something that they look for as not good, and it gets you out of there. It's one of the challenges of a pitching coach or a manager is to understand the mannerisms. What's changed from the time you got in there fresh, the adjustments you've made. Can you continue to do that and get outs?
Laid off. Now it's 3-1. Seth Smith has moved to the on-deck circle. Franklin Gutierrez due up next. Marte trying to get on here with 2 outs in the 7th in a tie game.
Yeah, it looks like Brad maybe trying to avoid his 2 left-handers today, Justin Wilson and Kyle Ryan. Kyle Ryan an inning and 2/3 yesterday.
Walked him.
Justin Wilson 2 of 3. Decision time.
Ken goes out there first, and now Brad will follow. It appears he will go to the bullpen with Seth Smith being introduced as the pinch hitter.
Likes the matchup.
So Wilson will be coming into the ball game. Rondon will leave, and we will break. It is a 4-4 tie here at Comerica.
Tire pitch by pitch. Daniel Norris sailing early, totally dominating the Mariners until the 4th inning when Nelson Cruz connects for a solo shot over the left field wall. You can see the location doesn't quite get it in there. Chris IANNETTA gets him as well in the 5th inning, and then Leonis Martin as well. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, all on home runs. Bruce Rondon later relieved and gave up a home run to Nelson Cruz, his 2nd of the game, to tie the game at 4. Alex Wilson, our pitcher now, done a good job, been a workhorse, seems to be throwing the ball better lately. 22 strikeouts, 10 walks, seems to be having better location as of late though. He'll be facing Seth Smith, who's now pitch hitting for
Gutierrez.
Franklin Gutierrez.
First one is inside to Smith. 2 out, base on balls, chasing Bruce Rondon. We'll see if the right-hander Wilson now can get Smith out. Rondon will end up going an inning and 2/3. That man at first base, his responsibility though.
2 out walks. Boy, you hate to see him.
Smith started the first 3 games in the series. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 on Seth Smith. really don't want to deal with the guy on deck. That is Robinson Cano.
That's for sure. The guy behind him as well. Nelson Cruz with the 2 home runs. 2 outs. Got to come in here. You got to get this guy.
Right at the first baseman on a line. SALTALAMACCHIA makes the play to end the inning. No runs, they get a walk. And 1 man left. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. The 7th here at Comerica Park in the series finale. Seth Smith will stay in the game and play in left for Seattle. And the Hems have also gone to the bullpen. Now they have a new pitcher.
Nick Vincent coming into the game, 33rd game. 3.24 ERA. 40 strikeouts, 8 walks. Really comes at you. Very consistent. Likes his cutter. Likes to attack the hitter, and he's something about him. He doesn't throw that hard, but gets a lot of swings and misses.
Cabrera Castellanos up and right in the middle of the Tigers lineup. There's a high fly ball, shallow right center. Martin calling. And Cabrera is retired. He is 0 for 4 this afternoon.
Yeah, you try and give him a rest by DHing him, but that's a hard position to play, DH. Especially when you're not used to it. You don't know whether you should exercise, you do it too much, you don't do it enough, you take too much BP. So far, Miggy 0 for 4. That'll leave it up to Nick Castellanos.
They played a pull, and Castellanos hits it the other way foul.
Got another Shane Green up in the pen now for the Tigers. He was in the game through an inning last night. Threw well, 3 up, 3 down.
Nick with a walk, couple of fly balls to right field. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Getting back to that DH thing, there's something to be said about guys that have mastered that. And you talked about kind of finding your routine, your rhythm, and that can take a little while, but certainly guys like Ortiz and Victor Martinez have been able to do it.
Yeah, well, you can't wear yourself out, and after a while you learn that you just have to measure how much you do. The other thing you have to learn how to do is turn your brain off. You know, you got nothing to do but think about hitting. So that's one of the reasons playing the field is also good, because you go out there now, you're playing defense. You have to keep your head in the game. You got to be thinking about what play you're going to have to make, where you're going to go with the ball, so you don't fry your brain over the swings that you aren't happy with. I'm not saying there isn't a time while you're standing in the outfield you're not thinking about your hitting, but when you do realize it's counterproductive and it's going to hurt your defense, you catch yourself and you move on.
0-2. Another one back out of play. Tigers led 2-0, then 4-1. Castellanos had a walk in the second, scored on the Upton double. Seattle has hit 4 solo homers in this game to tie it up.
Hey, all you have to do is look in that Mariners dugout. Their former DH Edgar Martinez. He got very good at it as well.
Really good example. Here's the 0-2. Another foul back out of play. Here's Edgar. Here's a question: do DHs belong in the Hall of Fame?
I think they do.
I would tend to agree with that. I know the argument is, well, they haven't played a position. You know, Edgar has certainly played a position early in his career, as did Victor Martinez and David Ortiz. But the majority of the damage they've done in the big leagues came as DHs.
Well, pitchers only play defense once every 5 days.
Right.
So where do you draw the line?
And if it's a position and you're in a lineup card, you're right, where do you draw the line? Now the 1-2. Ground ball towards short. Marte to his right. 2 gone. Tigers fans, join us tomorrow night in the Tigers and Indians start a 3-game series. Tigers Live begins at 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Don't forget, big series coming up. Tigers Tribe beginning at 6.
That'll leave it up to Justin Upton. J-Up's been hot lately. Got drilled his last at bat. Did have a double in the second. Grounded out in the fourth.
Ooh, that one came up and in. Chin music.
It sure is. That's 2 times in a row. Up around the dome. That ball's just got away from him. Although he's been really hammering the ball out over the plate.
Justin had his 11-game hitting streak snapped in the ball game last night and promptly doubled to not get a run in the second inning today.
I don't think this will be a fastball. You know he's going to have energy. Well, he did. He just blew it right by him, 90 miles an hour. You wonder how can he do that? But I'm telling you, he's got a funky release. He hides the ball well, and he has no fear.
And one of the terms that has become popular these days in baseball to explain guys like that is spin rate. The guys with a higher spin rate seem to be a little bit more trickier to track.
Yeah, the more spin, maybe you don't see it as well. You don't pick it up because it's faster, so it's tighter spin. It comes at you fast as well. Here it comes. See, watch his arm when it comes out late. Goes across his body.
3-2 on Upton. What do you got on the beard here for Vincent? Thumbs up?
Doesn't look like he's shaved in a while, does it? Hey, that's what he likes.
More and more guys seem to be growing those.
Looks like it'd be hot. Good for the fall and winter, though.
That'll bounce in for ball 4. Justin on base for the 3rd time in this game. 2-out runner.
They went to Cal State Long Beach. You wouldn't think that he'd not a real beard community over there, is it?
No, it's not good for surfing, I would think. A beard community. Is there such a thing?
Yeah, I think different, you know, like loggers.
Yeah, Northwest.
Yeah.
Here's Steven Moya.
Needs to go find a groomer, though, for sure. It's a little shaggy.
Moya doubled in a run in the second.
Well, Vincent gave Jay up the weak move there. Probably somewhere along the line he's going to give him a much better move. Try and get him comfortable. Get Jay up off that bag and try and get him.
Swing and a miss. Snap throw, and he almost threw it away. Ball came out of nowhere from IANNETTA.
Yeah, catchers, the good catchers, see he swings. When you're a runner and he swings, your tendency is to take the extra step towards second. So that's a good time to back pick. Or if they throw a slider in the dirt, your tendency as a runner is to go, you know, anticipate, am I going to second? So they throw down there as well. Jap actually had a pretty good read right there, got back safely.
Who's the best guy that you've seen as far as that back pick? Molina?
Yeah.
Yadier?
Yep.
The 0-1. And upstairs again, swing and a miss.
Yep. That's where they're just going to keep riding him up there until he starts letting off that pitch. He's got to let it go. It's hard to get on top of that pitch.
Ironically, the home run that he hit against Chris Young, his first home run of his career in KC over the weekend, was an elevated fastball that he got on top of.
Yeah, Vincent throws a little harder.
Runner goes. Big jump. Here comes the throw. It's going to be late. And up it was 4 or 5 steps to second.
Well, they're over there timing. They're watching everything, and you just see him take off early. He hasn't even let go of the ball yet. They've scouted him on tape, so they have a good idea. You confirm it while you're out there, then you execute it. Jay up with the second steal of the day.
Tigers today are 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Moya trying to break the tie, and he popped it up foul, back out of play.
Continues to go up top. Just tells you that he knows that he's trying to lay off that pitch. He just tells you it's coming out, and it looks like it's right there. Now they say that the ball sometimes looks like it rises, but that's not the case. But maybe it stays on the plane instead of sinks.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Moya down on strikes. Threat is over. No runs, a walk, a man left. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire.
been flying prior to this. 4 home runs. Nelson Cruz in the 4th. Then James McCann answers for the Tigers. Then we go into the 5th inning. Chris IANNETTA, he goes yard to left field, and then Martin follows, and then again in the 6th with the 2nd home run of the game. Nelson Cruz goes again, and he's been quiet all series, but hot today. Score stands 4-4.
4 homers from the M's, 5 total, and it's been a slugfest here this afternoon in terms of homers, but scoring has been kept down because a lot of them have been solo shots. CANO will lead things off, then CRUZ and Lee. And CANO takes low, 1-0. Double and 3 at bats for Robinson Cano. Alex Wilson came on to get the final out of the 7th. He's back out there in the 8th. Two-0. Cano in his career has had 4 top 5 finishes in the MVP voting. Had some big years with the Yankees, 9 seasons in the pinstripes. Swinging on 2-0, and he drills it right to the center fielder and right into the glove of Romine.
Cano's hit the ball pretty good. Remember earlier in the game, he hit the one to Jay Up that he pulled off the wall. Hit that one on the button, but not much to show.
That'll bring up CRUZ. Homers in each of his last 2 at bats. The one he hit against Rondon in the 6th was mighty impressive. 97, he turned it into the seats in left field. There's a strike on the outer edge.
Well, you know, Nelson Cruz is feeling it right now. Sometimes the ball looks really small, sometimes it looks really big like a beach ball. Want to stay away from him now. Nothing on the inside part of the plate. Seems like Andy Fletcher's tightened that zone up. That ball looked pretty good tailing back.
There's a strike, 1-2.
You see Cruz not even sniffing and not even offering anything off outside. He's looking for that middle third again. He's hit 2 home runs on pitches middle third in from the Tiger pitching.
Foul tip it in the glove for strike 3. 2 gone. First strikeout for Wilson.
Well done by Alex Wilson right there, hitting the target. As I said, he's looking inside. He's looking in here. This is where his home runs were. But on the outside corner, 3 pitches in a row, and he goes down.
Dae-Ho Lee hitless in 3 at bats, a couple of ground balls and a strikeout. Got to be careful with him as well. He does have 10 home runs this year.
And he's got pop. Look at, he's a big boy, and he just loads that. He loads it up. He lets it go. Tigers have jammed him a couple times.
Another one off the end of the bat, 0-2.
Benoit warming up in the bullpen for the Mariners.
It has been a bullpen day for Seattle. Their starter Sampson could not answer the bell after warming up at the start of the game, left with elbow discomfort. Lee thought about it, did not offer. 1-2.
Yeah, the key to Alex Wilson is his cutter. You can notice right at the end of the pitch, just moves a little bit away from the right-handed hitter. That's why we got a little argument going between the manager and Andy Fletcher.
Scott Service came to the top step. Fletcher telling him step back.
Anyway, that cutter, it's hard to see when he's got it going right. They think they're going to barrel it. It moves off the barrel to the end of the bat, and the Mariners have not centered that pitch from Alex Wilson yet.
Two and two.
Pretty much think after that argument, maybe you could throw in about 5-6 inches off the plate. You're going to get the call, though.
Right.
It's pretty hard when you're getting into one of those arguments like that you don't want to say one more word. Do you get like that?
You're on the edge, though. You really want to say that one more word.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just got done airing you out, so you let it calm down, and then you just chirp that one more. You still stay.
Do you stick around after that, or do you usually get the
Not if
vote?
you say you. Or you just say, well, I'm just trying to ask. If they don't want to hear it, they just heave-ho you.
Grounder back to the mound. Wilson gonna have himself a 1-2-3 8th inning. Tiger bullpen the last 2 nights has been awesome. Of the 8th inning here at Comerica Park. Here's the Chevy Silverado most dependable players. Want to dip down to the minor leagues and look at some guys that, well, they're having some pretty good seasons.
I believe John Hicks they picked up from the Twins, who was left unprotected. Gives the Tigers catching depth in the organization. Off to a good start down in Toledo. Joe Jimenez been good everywhere he's went. Now in Erie, continues to throw the ball well. Christian Stewart out of Tennessee last year, 16 home runs. He's got showing his power. And Matt Hall, 8-0 on the season with the Whitecaps, left-hander. Lots of good arms and lots of good position players the Tigers are developing as we speak.
Well, we'll see what happens here in the bottom of the 8th. Joaquin Benoit is on.
His 17th game for the Mariners. ERA is at 3.78. 16 walks, 8 walks, 16 strikeouts. Shut the Tigers down the other evening before Tigers went on to win that game in extras.
So Benoit will go to work facing James McCann here in the 8th, and McCann fouls it off.
So you're in the 8th. Do you pinch run for McCann, Salty, any of those guys? They get on? You don't have to answer that. You just answer it in your own head if you want to.
I have to think about that. Certainly not Romine.
No. Well, it'd be one of them. It'd either be McCann or
Salty. No balls, 2 strikes. But these are the types of things, obviously, as a skipper, that you're going through as you enter every half inning.
Absolutely.
You got to be prepared. 0-2 on McCann.
Well, I know he wants to give Cam Maben the whole day off, but if you pinch hit or pinch run for Salty, you don't want to put Miggy in. Maben's got to go to center, and Romine's got to come to first.
Swing and a miss. So McCann is out, one gone. Let's check in now with Matt Shepard.
Mario, I had a chance to talk with Joaquin Benoit not too long ago. He's been, of course, pitching in San Diego, now Seattle, and first time back here, at least on Monday, and he pitched 2 scoreless innings. Fans booed him. He understood it. His disappointment was the opportunity not to come back after that, of course, playoff disappointment against Boston, in which he gave up that David Ortiz home run. And his fear is that that's what Tiger fans remember him for, when really in 3 seasons he had a sub-3 ERA in the regular season. But as he and I discussed, and I reminded him, it's what have you done for me lately? But he's still adjusting to Seattle and looking forward, as always, to pitching against his old team.
Well, I think it's true, Shep, but if you look, you're right, you look at his numbers with the Tigers. He had 24 saves in that 2013 season, but that one swing of the bat is what guys will remember him for.
Yeah, and of course it's famous too because Torrey Hunter fell over the wall.
Right.
And we all know how long it's been since the Tigers won a World Series here. Gibby knows better than anybody.
Well, and you look at that 2013 team, Kirk, and I think that without question, that probably was the best team the Tigers have had in quite some time, and really maybe their best chance to win a World Series.
Well, it probably was, but you know, again, the thing you got to remember, David Ortiz is pretty good himself. So it's we tend to look at the people who fail and don't give the credit to those who succeed. So Benoit did do a very good job for the Tigers while he was here. He did like it. Most of the players that come here love it in Detroit. They enjoy the fans. But that's just, as a player, you understand the frustration that comes out when moments like that happen.
SALTALAMACCHIA looks at a strike, 3-1. 4-4 game. We're in the 8th inning. Benoit for the Tigers pitched in 2011, 12, and 13 in Detroit. Last 2 years in San Diego.
So how do you feel about when people boo guys like that? Do you think it's no big deal?
I don't know. I mean, I understand the frustration. I really do. But I tend to look at the body of work as opposed to one play or one pitch. And as you say, David Ortiz is a pretty good player. There's a swing and a miss. He comes back to strike out SALTALAMACCHIA.
Benoit throwing the ball very well right now. Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, I would say go ahead and do it, though. You know, because we're all trying to get into a better spot so we can move on. I do know that some people do it just to try and dig and get a reaction out of people. That maybe I think is counterproductive, just for the sake of doing it.
Right. Well, there's a big difference there. Romine stands in.
When it gets into the insulting part, I think that it's over the board.
Here's the ball high. Well, just think what Bill Buckner had to go through, and a ball that went right through his legs.
Oh boy.
And what Mitch Williams had to go through, surrendering the home run to Joe Carter. I mean, there are a lot of examples over the years. In fact, you were involved in one, the home run that you hit against Eckersley.
Yeah, he went well. A guy who didn't go well, Donnie Moore.
Right. Well, he's the ultimate case, unfortunately, on the bad things that can happen. Romine hitting here with 2 outs in the 8th. And it's high. 3 balls, no strikes.
I think that, like, if somebody's not preparing properly or they're not putting effort in, hustling, stuff like that, I think that's totally legit. A guy to go out and give his best, prepare properly, and just get beat. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I wasn't a booer, though. I mean, did you ever go to a game and boo a guy?
Nope. Not that I can remember. I mean, I would boo the opposing team just to boo them.
Yeah, but you see guys boo and then laugh.
Swing and a miss. 3-2.
Lively fastball there.
Single and 3 at bats for Romine. Here's the 3-2.
Defensive swing there.
Trying to keep this going for Ian Kinsler, the top of the lineup. We're in the bottom of the 8th, 4-4 tie. Tigers in search of a sweep, which would be really nice with the Indians coming to town. A little momentum. And again, the 3-2. Another foul back to the screen.
Here's how we sit today. Tigers 4.5 back. Kansas City 3 back. Chicago only a game behind the Tigers. Minnesota having a miserable, tough season after really an encouraging one last year. Cleveland just on fire.
So Romine continues to battle. Eighth pitch at bat now for Romine, number 9 coming up. Seattle in the 9th inning will have Seager, IANNETTA, and Martin due up. 6, 7, and 8 in their lineup. Foul tip for strike 3. In a 1-2-3 inning for Benoit. He strikes out the side. We'll go to the 9th here at Comerica. 4-4 game. Inning, and the Tigers, well, their bullpen has been really good in this series.
Been great. You just look at the numbers right here. 16 and 2/3 innings, only 2 earned runs, 16 strikeouts. The walks almost non-existent. Opponents only hitting 172 off the Tigers bullpen. Well titled, major relief, and the new pitcher for the Tigers, Shane Green, now in the bullpen, kind of cherishing the role now in a good tie game right here. Who wouldn't want to be in a ball game out of the pen? 25 strikeouts, 11 base on balls. Looking for some outs. Get the Tigers back in to try and win it in walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 9th.
Kyle Seager will lead it off, and he looks at a ball outside. 1-0. Seager, then IANNETTA, and then Martin all due up here in the 9th inning. A little bit outside again. 2 balls, no strikes on Seager. Seattle has not scored since the home run by Nelson Cruz in the 6th inning tied it up.
Don't want to be getting behind in the count, and you get in these tight games here in late innings.
Now 3-0. IANNETTA waiting on deck. They're playing to pull on Seager to the right side of the infield.
I don't think he's thinking about hitting a ground ball.
Swinging on 3-0 and sends a grounder to the right side. The outfield grass. Kinsler throws him out. 1 gone. Well, fans, Fox Sports Detroit's University Days rolls right along this summer with Central Michigan University at Comerica Park on July the 15th. Buy a special ticket package to the Tigers-Royals game and get a Tigers baseball cap in Central Michigan colors. To buy tickets or to get more information, visit tigers.com/special events.
Chips.
With the Broncos here last night of Western Michigan. There's IANNETTA. He looks at ball 1. Home run for IANNETTA back in the 5th, a solo homer. They went back-to-back in that inning.
Yeah, early in the count as well, just jumping all over it.
It was his 7th home run of the season. Each ball club today with 7 hits. Checked it, missed it low. 2-0.
Second straight 2-0 count.
Outside, 3-0. So now Green has gone 3-0 on back-to-back hitters. Seager bailed him out by grounding out, swinging on 3-0.
Got a couple 3-0 groundouts. Ian Kinsler as well for the Tigers.
IANNETTA takes ball 4. 1-out walk.
Steve Cishek up in the pen for the Mariners. One time had really good stuff, kind of low 3/4 action. Tough on the righties especially.
Here's Leonis Martin. One for 3 with a home run for Martin. And that almost hit him. 1 ball and no strikes.
Kind of a high leg kick there by Greeny. Chris IANNETTA not very fast, but he will sneak attack you. Has no stolen bases this year, but has a couple in his career. Seen him go. Going to get a visit here from Rich Doobie.
Green has thrown 9 pitches since coming out of the bullpen. 8 of them have missed the strike zone.
The 1 strike was a ground out by Seager.
So Martin will dig in there now with a 1-0 count. 4-4 tie in the 9th inning. Tigers trying to get a win here today and go to 3 over the 500 mark. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 on Leonis Martin.
Gonna have to get somebody else up here pretty soon.
That's 9 of 10 now that has missed the strike zone for the right-hander Green. Brad did not expect this wildness here. He'll get on the telephone. There's a strike call, 2-1, and a sarcastic cheer from the crowd.
Is that sarcastic?
Yeah, you can tell. It's, hey, way to go.
That's what they wanted. They got it and they cheered. Nice double play ball right here.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. A healthy cut there from Martin.
Yeah, if you're behind in the count, you don't entice those type of swings, because they can keyhole you. Just look middle. When the pitcher gets ahead in the count, it's just the opposite. You get those on the edges swings.
Low, 3-2. Number 9 hitter Sean O'Malley waiting on deck.
Frankie Rodriguez beginning to warm up. He's throwing in 2 in a row, 3 in a row.
Yeah, and he came in last night of the non-save situation, threw a 1-2-3-9. Slow ground ball towards second base. Kinsler shovels it over for 1. Relay in time, a double play.
There you go.
He did not look tailor-made. Let's see if Seattle wants to challenge it. They're at the very least going to look at it.
He's out.
4-6-3. That's a double play. That'll end the 9th inning. And the Tigers coming up in the bottom of the 9th have Kinsler, Iglesias, and Cabrera.
Tigers and Mariners tied at 4. However, this thing ends, folks. We will be inside the clubhouse and we will be inside the Coliseum studios. Trevor Thompson, Craig Monroe, and Rod Allen. Or as Rod used to say, the brothers are taking over the Coliseum. They're going to break it all down for you. We'll be in the clubhouse talking with Brad Ausmus and players. Guys, the key number is 5. You know why?
Why?
Because when Detroit scores 4 runs or less, they are 9-26. Let's get to 5 in a hurry. Back to you.
I'm Willie Shep, and we'll see if Ian Kinsler is the man to get it done. They've got the closer on now. Do the Mariners?
Yeah, Steve Cishek. He's got 16 saves on the year.
Really throwing the ball well in his last 11 games. A 1.59 ERA. 16 strikeouts over that span. 16 of 20 save opportunities. Location is the key for him as well, whether he's walking guys or not. With kind of a low 3/4, ball really moves back into the right-handed hitters, and he's got the slider he just opened Kinsler off with.
Ooh, had a lot of movement too.
Late movement.
Kinsler, Iglesias, and Cabrera. 4-4 game, bottom of the 9th. Cishek fires it home at a strike in the outer edge. 0-2. Wow.
Yeah, he shuts down righties. We have a few of them.
Lefties aren't that good either. Former Marlins closer Steve Cishek. Soft roller towards second. O'Malley, 1 out. We'll bring up Iglesias.
Tigers need runners. Get a runner on. Get the first baseman holding the runner on. Open that infield up a little bit. Kyle Ryan now is warming up in the Tigers bullpen. Frankie is sat down. Mariners have O'Malley, Marte, and Smith due up, and CANO after that.
It slides outside, 2-0. Cishek had as many as 39 saves a couple of years ago for the Marlins. Former 5th-round pick by Florida / Miami. 2-0 showing bunt just to show it. Strike call, 2-1.
He holds the Miami franchise record with 33 consecutive saves. I think that was in 2013. It's rolling.
2-1 pitch.
We'll want to see that tonight.
Man, it was nasty. 2-2. Iglesias, an infield single in 4th bats. You've got Cabrera lurking on deck. Three-2 now on Iglesias. Cishek with the 3-2. He walked him. Ball 4. Winning run is on.
Well, on Monday, Miggy did it right here. The big mammoth shot. This is what we were talking about earlier in the game. How far did it go? And then last night again, the hanging breaking ball, so he can hit either pitch that Cishek's going to throw. Got the right guy up. It's kind of a decision you got to make. Do you not steal on him because Miggy's up and they may walk him? But at the same time, if Miggy hits a ground ball, you get into a double play.
Would you tend not to run the runner here?
I think in general, it just depends if I thought he could make it.
0-2.
That's a pretty quick time right there, unless you get a quick jump.
Castellanos on deck. The 0-2 to Cabrera. Ball high.
He throws that frisbee, the prior pitch, that slider. He comes in like a frisbee, then he throws that sidearm heater at 92. It looks a lot faster than 92.
There's that frisbee that slides outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outfield is deep on Cabrera. The winning run is at first. Ooh. 3-2.
Got to send it.
crowd getting into it.
Could be a slider.
Runner goes, and a high fly ball into shallow right field. That'll be routine for Nelson Cruz. 2 gone.
Cishek overhung that. Miggy saw it well, just didn't come as far as he thought it was over the plate and ended up jamming himself.
Now Castellanos.
If you look at the outfield, they're guarding these gaps, but you maybe want the ball down the corner down here. That's where Iglesias could score from. Maybe have Cishek throwing away over there to first.
That would help.
Get Iggy to second or third on that throw.
Strike 1 on Castellanos. Nick has a walk today, otherwise he's 0 for 3. Cishek replacing Benoit, who struck out the side in the 8th. Ooh, a high strike, and Castellanos does not like it.
Now if he throws that breaking ball out of there. Box track says it was in the zone.
Little pop up, back a second. O'Malley. Ooh, that's a tough play. Back to the infield, a basket catch to end the inning.
That'd have been interesting because Iglesias was hustling.
No runs, a walk, 1 stranded, and a good play by O'Malley. Presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. 4-4 is our score as we go to the top of the 10th. The Tigers and Seattle trying to wrap up this series. And Kyle Ryan comes on now for the Tigers.
Kyle with an inning and 2/3 last night. Scoreless relief. On again today. Talked to him before the game and think he might be hanging a little bit today, but he's ready to go.
Ryan came on to get a couple of outs in the 5th and then a 1-2-3 6th last night as he throws a strike to Sean O'Malley. O'Malley, then Marte, and then Smith in the 10th inning for Seattle. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. O'Malley has a double on his resume today. Line drive to left, base hit. He can add a single to that. Hey, Tigers fans, remember to fill out your 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Tigers.com on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Vote up to 35 times. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Tigers.com/vote. Leadoff man on here for Seattle now. Ketel Marte will step up there.
Think he's bunting?
We shall soon
Could
find
be
out.
hit and run as well. I sniff it.
Pulled back the bunt. 1 ball, no strikes.
Tigers kind of laying back a little bit on this bunt. They're not convinced that he's going to for sure bunt the ball. Whatever bunt play you put on, it's important that the pitcher throws a strike because you're defending the bunt and you want him to bunt the ball.
Oh, he threw it away. That's going to go up the line. He might get the third on this, and he will. O'Malley goes all the way to third base on a bad throw by Kyle Ryan.
Yeah, he tried the step-off move. Errant throw way to the right field side. Nothing Salty can do about it, and that's down there in the corner. O'Malley quickly and easily over to third. Tigers will have to bring the infield in. Try cutting O'Malley down at home plate.
First error of the game for either team. So that'll change the complexion of this inning quite a bit. Infield in for the Tigers. Marte trying to drive the run in now. And he sends a ground ball foul.
Tigers 3-2 in extra inning games. Mariners 5-4. So last night Kyle Ryan came in, wiggled out of some trouble, bases loaded, 1 out. Has another challenge tonight.
One and two now on Marte.
You know, sometimes you see, occasionally you see another ball club in this situation. You've got a real ground ball pitcher, they'll bring another guy in the infield. Kind of throw all your eggs in one basket. Don't see it very often, but the Tigers playing with 4. Question would be, who do you bring in? Be a ROMINE. Go with 2 outfielders.
Slow roller toward third. This will not get the run in. Castellanos throws him out. That's a start. 1 away.
Well executed by Kyle Ryan there. You throw the ball inside to try and jam him and get the ball on the ground.
We'll bring up Seth Smith.
Bobby Cano to follow. Mark Lowe is now up in the pen for the Tigers. Sure he will be ready for Nelson Cruz.
Oh, and 1 on Smith.
You know, you think it'd be easy to get that guy in, but it's not that easy. It's a lot of pressure. Guys are trying too hard, maybe overswinging, expanding the zone.
Smith is batting just .176 against left-handed pitching this year. The 0-1. Now it's 0-2 on Smith. Leadoff single by O'Malley. He went to third on a bad pickoff throw by Kyle Ryan, and now Ryan a chance to dig out of this jam here. Here's Cano lurking though.
Well, he's already gotten 1 ground ball. He is about 10% over average for ground ball percentage rate.
1 and 2. Outside again, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The only run so far the Tigers bullpen has given up. The home run by CRUZ off Rondon way back in the 6th. And since then they've thrown up nothing but zeros. Two on Smith. And it's hit right to the second baseman. They're going to come home, and we've got a rundown. McCann bluffs the throw and makes the tag. 2 gone. Well, how big is that?
That's huge. Got 2 ground balls. I was talking about the ground ball percentage. Kyle Ryan is one of his weapons. He gets the first ground ball, the third. Now he gets it to Kinsler, who picks it, makes a great quick throw, gives it to James McCann. He makes a good play here with the fake. You don't want to fake the ball to your teammate, but he was so close that he just faked the runner there, and he bit. O'Malley's tagged out easily by James McCann. Good play. Finish it out here by getting Robinson Cano.
Cano in the ball game had a double in the first inning, but since not a whole lot. He is 1 for 4. And he looks at a strike. 0-1.
Seth Smith, not a guy who runs a lot anymore, but you want to keep him honest. Game is really slowed down. These situations tend to merit it.
And another strike on Cano. Now it's 0-2.
Keep throwing that ball on the outside part of the plate. Cano is going to go with that pitch. Be ready on the left side of the diamond.
Ryan ready with the 0-2 pitch. Here it is. And Cano swings and strikes out.
Big.
What a job by Ryan. A runner at third and nobody out, and he wiggles out of the jam.
For Justin Upton on Monday night, ended it with a walk-off home run in the 12th inning. Just got done tallying him, and he produced out there quickly. Good celebration. Can he do it again? That's what the Tigers and the fans here are looking for today. Justin Upton been coming out of his slump, early season slump.
Well, here we go. Upton will get it started. Moya and McCann to follow. Tigers, well, was looking grim in the top of the inning. Runner at third, nobody out, and they managed to strand a runner.
I would say let's not see Nelson Cruz next inning.
Chopper back up the middle, and Marte will throw him out.
That sinker just ate Jay up.
Cishek pitching his second inning.
Yeah, lots of movement right there. Looked like it was going to be a fastball down the middle. Just dove down and in on his hands.
Steven Moya, double walk, RBI, run scored. Shifting to the right side. The entire left side of the infield is open. Foul back.
Frankie Rodriguez up in the pin. Two in a row for Frankie. Night to day game. He's game.
Oh, 2.
Looked like Steven Moya is trying to end it right there.
A healthy cut by Moya.
As a hitter, you got to try and force yourself to just hit a little ball up the middle. Don't overswing. Although it is the inclination is what happens. You try and end it. It's extra innings. Everybody knows that's why you see extra inning games going on for so long.
Well, this one was tied up in the 6th inning by Seattle. Neither team has scored since. 4 runs on 8 hits for the M's, 4 runs on 7 hits for the Tigers. Game 1 in the series went 12 innings. Tigers won in the bottom of the 12th. Here's the 1-2. Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High, 3-2. Outfield very deep for Moya. Got to get him on first.
You got Maben, you got Mike.
And he's on. It's a walk.
Yep. Looks like they just pulled. Here comes Cam Maben.
So Maben will represent the winning run at first base.
They're going to hit Victor for McCann.
Pinch runner and a pinch hitter.
So Romine will come to first base. Maben will go to center. Salty will go to catcher.
Moya gets the high fives for drawing the walk. Here is the game summary this afternoon. Daniel Norris went 5 innings. He allowed 3 earned runs. A lot of homers today. And the Tiger bullpen in this series has just been absolutely outstanding. And they were breathing fumes or on fumes coming into this series based on the last series in Kansas City. So here is Victor Martinez. He will pinch hit for McCann. Maybe the winning run at first base. Victor takes the ball low.
They could leave Victor in if they don't score here at first base. Bring Salty to catch.
Snap throw, Maben back.
looked like a balk move to me. Cishek buckled that front knee first, trying to fool Maben. You watch that front knee. They buckle it, try to get you to think that they're going home, and then they come over to first quickly.
Line drive, base hit left field. Maben on his way to second and will stop there. Boy, now it's going to get away. And Maben will move up to third. Seager had trouble getting back to the bag, and the throw eluded him. Second and third with 1 out.
Good move right here. Victor with the bullet over the shortstop's head. I should say shortstop position. That's Seager. Seager's trying to get back to third base. Thought Cam Maben had a chance to move on to third base, but the throw gets away from Seager. Both runners move up. Tigers have second and third. 1 down.
And a chance for SALTALAMACCHIA to win it. Mike Aviles now has come on a pinch run for Martinez at second. They're going to walk SALTALAMACCHIA. This will give Romine a chance to be the hero. He is on deck. And now ball 4 coming to SALTALAMACCHIA. Tigers hitters today have drawn 8 walks. Albeit this one intentional.
Smart play by Seattle. They haven't forced it any base. The Tigers, their options are just see what Romine does. They're going to be in double play. Depth is Seattle. Could squeeze, but you got to feel fairly confident that the ball is going to be within the zone that Andrew Romine can get the bunt down. I know he has suicide squeeze with Romine before.
So here's Romine against Cishek. Defensively, they're in on the infield, and they're shallow in the outfield.
They're going to go home with it. You have to be shallow. You have to be able to throw them out on a fly ball.
Romine looks at a strike, 0-1. Maben is the winning run at third base. And it's bunted down the first base line, foul. Now it's 0-2.
Well, Maben was not coming down the line. I don't know if that was a miscommunication or Romine just did that on his own.
Yeah, Ken didn't even move. So now it's 0-2.
So Maben's got to watch this guy right here, third baseman.
Just got a piece to stay alive.
You see, he's got to read this guy. You can get off as far as the third baseman can get back. Obviously, you want to get down the line as far as you can in case the ball's in the dirt.
Little pop up back kind of play.
Remember the other night when the Tigers won 4-2, Aviles grounded a bat out, got an infield hit. McCann fouled with the sac fly. We're down in the count, 2 strikes, just like Romine is here. Just shorten up, put the ball in play.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So there are 2 gone now, and it's going to be up to Kinsler.
See the fastball right here, up in the zone. Defense has retreated to normal depth. Cishek has been starting a lot of the Tiger hitters off with the first pitch breaking ball. Doesn't mean you sit on it if you don't think you can hit it. You need to take it. Hope you get the heater.
It'll break low and in. Kinsler has a single and a walk in this game. He's got the bases loaded here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th.
Remember, they walked Moya on a 3-2 slider.
Way outside, it gets through the catcher. Maben scores, and the Tigers walk it off again. A wild pitch, and the Tigers sweep Seattle.
Well, I tell you, it was a tough game that they came back and got tied up late in this game. Bullpen did a pretty good job. Kyle Ryan, again, a great job after making a mistake by throwing the ball into the right field corner. Brad Osmond started pushing the buttons. Brings in Cameron Maben to run. Vmart to hit. Aviles runs for Vmart. They walk Saltamacchia. Romine strikes out, but they do have the bases loaded, and Kinsler induces the wild pitch. This is Cishek. This is what he can do. Catcher IANNETTA has no chance at this ball at all. Cameron Maben, the pinch runner, comes home easily. But I like how Brad went for it. Put the pressure on the defense and got the win.
Well, he saw his opportunity, and the Tigers take advantage of it. And more importantly, as a team now, they sweep Seattle. They've won 4 in a row. With Cleveland coming to town next, Cameron Maben comes in with a game-winning run. And right now we send it down to the field and Matt Shepard.
Mario, this team continues to believe in oneself, and you can understand why. I know you didn't score the game winner, but this is a heck of a win for your ball club. It's not exactly conventional, but who cares?
No, a win's a win. You know, bullpen once again came in and grinded out for us. You know, Mac did a great job behind the plate. You know, some tough innings there. So, you know, we were able to keep the runs off and get that run the last inning.
What has gotten into this bullpen, do you think, during this series?
They're getting a lot of work. You know, I mean, that's what they can do. You know, we've been leaning on them hard this year, and you know, like I said yesterday, hopefully we can get them some time off. Second
start at first base, and it looks very comfortable, very natural to you. I know you were working with Matt Martin earlier. How do you make that adjustment?
You know, I was just trying not to let anything get by me. You know, if it was a ground ball to me, I was just going to try and block it. You know, do my part best I can.
What's a key for a guy like Cameron Maben when he's kind of edging off third base? You got to be alert. You got 2 down. You got a clutch hitter at the plate in Kinsler. How do you make sure you know when to go there?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great read. You know, you're not sure, especially on that side. Not sure how far it got away from the catcher. You know, but Cam's a smart base runner. Been doing it for years, and got us that big win.
4 in a row. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA and the Tigers continue to press on, especially here at home. This crowd makes a big difference. They continue to roll, and now they welcome in Cleveland for a big series this weekend. Back to you.
Shep, thanks. Tigers now 3 games over the 500 mark. A walk-off wild pitch. Get it done any way you can. Maben scores the game winner. And the Tigers win. Back with more from Comerica.